Mr. President, I admire His Honor's passion and dream for economic development through sports. I have the same dream as well. I have also experienced and have been supporting sports development through sports. Through the Ironman 70.3 that started in Camsur, lahat yun sinalihan ko, nakita ko na sa una ilang 400 participants lang yata kami. Hanggang sa naging 1,200, lahat na ng kamag-anak, lahat ng kakilala, boyfriend, girlfriend, sumasama manood. Nalipat sa Mactan, taon-taon mababasa nyo kung paano yung mga sasakay ng eroplano sa Mactan Airport, naglalakad, kaladkad yung kanilang maleta kasi sarado yung kalsada for the use of the bikers. And yet, nagsakripisyo ng gano'n ng mga Cebuano for the benefit of that sport kasi ganun kalaki yung tawag ng sport na yon. So His Honor and I see eye to eye on the potential of sports development in our country for tourism and for economic prosperity. However, again, I will point out that the functions that His Honor's Boxing Commission, that he envisions in the Boxing Commission, is already being performed by GAB. And the money that His Honor would
Mr.
like to
President.
put... Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Sorry to interrupt. Madam Good Lady from Taguig, sorry to interrupt. It's not the same, Mr. President, the function of Philippine Boxing and GAB, Mr. President, because Boxing Commission has a developmental power, promotion, and then also giving benefits to the athletes, pension, SSS, PhilHealth. Yun po ang kakaiba ng ang GAB kasi hindi ko kinu-question yung GAB. Ang GAB to regulate lang, regulatory lang, and then supervise. Yun lang po. After that, wala na. Na marami ng mga boxer na nanghihingi ng tulong, na nahihirapan, na supposedly kung may boxing commission lang sana noon, hindi sila kawawa. May mga boxers na talagang nagugutom ngayon, na nahihirapan, nanghihingi ng tulong. So yan po, sana maintindihan.
Mr. President, as I was saying, the desire of His Honor is noble. He wants to promote our country, make it a destination for sports, particularly boxing. However, the functions of his Boxing Commission, and I will address his concern right after the statement I make, is basically identical to the functions being performed by what a Boxing Commission should perform. It is being performed now by GAB. It is meant to regulate. That is the job of every Boxing Commission in the world. They regulate. Now, if His Honor is talking about promotion, hindi job ng Boxing Commission yon. Bawal ho yun. There will be a conflict. And His Honor and I have had a discussion of this off the record, and he even said that he is willing to amend to exclude that because there will be a conflict if the Boxing Commission is promoting and at the same time regulating.
I would like to interrupt, Mr. President. Sorry to interrupt, Mr. President. To clarify it. What I'm talking about, Mr. President, when I'm talking about promoting the country, is not a promotional boxing kasi that's a job of a promoter. That's why there's a promoter and manager license. So, yan po ang ibig kong sabihin, yung promoting the country. Thank you, Mr. President.
So then I don't know in what way magpo-promote ang boxing kasi dun sa bill nakalagay something like promote the boxing industry. So if it's an industry...
No, Mr. President. Just want to clarify. Nasa provision, wala po yan. Binireview ko po yung Boxing Commission. Wala po nakalagay na promotion. Maging promoter. Ano po yan? Promotion sa ating bansa. Sa section, ano ba yan? Section 5 po yan. Ito. Section 5, item D. In collaboration with the private sector, national government agencies, and local government units or LGUs, promote and make the country as an international, regional, Center for Professional Boxing and Combat Sports Competition Training and Convention and Tourism, Mr. President.
Well, I have a problem with that, Mr. President, because when you promote it as a competition, they're supposed to regulate. And my little knowledge of boxing, and I'm sure all the gentlemen here know more than boxing than I do. I just had to study this for this measure. When you promote boxing, you want to be sure that the fight is even, unless there is a concerted effort to give a fighter more points locally so that when he goes abroad, or so that he would be invited to fight abroad because he gets more points. And that's precisely why you want a regulator to be fair. You cannot have this regulator having that burden of promoting because he has to regulate. So there's a problem also there. But again, maybe we can address that later on in the period of amendment because I see that there is a problem here. In any case, Mr. President, my biggest concern is that these functions are performed by GAB. Alam nyo, kung saan ang hinihingi na pera is 5 million pesos, wala na siguro tayong pag-uusapan. Ang problema, ang hinihingi ng pera para sa Boxing Commission is even bigger or equal to the funding that the whole GAB is allocated to GAB. It's more than the budget of GAB, and GAB is overseeing 20 sports. And I put on record, I will repeat, that even during the pandemic, they were able to include 3 new sports. Volleyball, ayan, wala sa isip ko, pero volleyball, may I just ask my staff to pull out the record, no? Pero, ayun, volleyball, triathlon, and there's a third sport na dagdag na yan, even during the pandemic. So, I cannot understand, and it will really be a burden on the body to have to decide now, why will we create a new body for just boxing and combat sports and give them a budget bigger than GAB that is overseeing the 20 sports without being able to pinpoint kung saan nagkulang ang GAB. Ngayon, when His Honor says na may ibang function pa yan, well then perhaps the solution is for now, it could be a dream we can have later on and entertain.
Mr. President.
The solution might be to amend the GAB law and to increase their powers. Like if we want to allow them to have an initial what do you call it, welfare fund, then that may be the solution for
President.
now.
Mr. President, sorry to interrupt, Mr. President. I just want to answer first because mamaya mahaba na yung makalimutan ko na iba. Mr. President, it doesn't say here how much exactly the budget of this commission, Mr. President. The concern of my colleague from Taguig is the budget 150 approximately, Mr. President. It's much higher than the GAB budget. Like I said, Mr. President, wala naman naka-state dito, nakalagay dito na 150. Pwede namang mababa pa sa GAB eh. Kung magkano yung sa GAB, pwedeng kung 100 million yung sa GAB, wala nang problema kung sabihin sa yung commission 70 million lang o 60 million lang, 50 million lang. No problem with that, Mr. President. Ang sabi ko lang approximately lang.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. President. But His Honor mentioned offices in Visayas and Mindanao. Mr. President, GAB has regional offices. And at this time of the pandemic, again, na every peso counts, we need to be accountable to the Filipino people how we spend public funds. I cannot help but recall that in one of the bills that is very close to my heart, and Senator Risa and I are working very closely on it, we are trying to amend the adoption law because we don't even have enough people attending to the homeless, motherless, abandoned children on the streets. Hindi nga ma-process yung adoption nila. So hindi ko kaya with all due humility as a mother na pondohan ang isang sports office specific to one sport only. Tapos itong ibang offices na ilalagay ang mga batang nasa kalye at mahanapan sila ng bahay, hindi pa natin napopondohan din. And again, the other example I gave was the health expenses and the education expenses. So I rest my case on that point, Mr. President, because
Thank you, Mr. President.
unless we can pinpoint that GAB is unable to perform its function, then we should not be entertaining a bill that is creating a similar agency that will duplicate functions. Even if we say the goal is to add certain functions, then with all due respect, I would like and I would love to, and I am offering my services to His Honor to work with him, at least for the time being during this pandemic, to be responsible during the time of this pandemic, to create a fund within GAB and for the amateurs, which I think is the primary concern of His Honor. I think I hope His Honor would be willing to consider that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, unang-una, this bill is already approved in the last Congress, 17th Congress. Hindi ito new, Mr. President, hindi ito tiniming sa dahil sa pandemya, ganyan. Existing na po ito, na-approve na po ito nung 17th Congress po, nabalik dito kasi hindi pa na-approve sa lower house. At pangalawa po, kung budget ang pag-uusapan natin, alam mo naman natin siguro kung ang budget diyan, kung pwede nating siyempre alam natin kung paano maglaan ng budget dito. Hindi naman ito, it can be less than 100 or less than the budget of the GAB. Yun po ang point dito. Pero and also to clarify po, kasi I thought from the beginning of the interpolation of this measure, I thought it's the good lady from Taguig. It's already, he will ask question for a clarificatory question. But I think this is not my understanding right now, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding right now is this is not a clarificatory question, this is a opposing the bill. Opposing the bill. So that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, thank you for His Honor's clarificatory question. If my interrogation or interpellation is clarificatory or ano yung sinabi niya, opposing. If His Honor will recall from the start, I always would begin by please educate me. I have always been collaborative, and again, I'm very proud to have worked with amazing mentors who trained me. Again, I will mention our minority floor leader, Senator Drilon. Maiiyak ako because some of my mentors have passed away, Senator Flavier, Senator Joker Arroyo, Senator Nene Pimentel, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, and Senator Angara. And what I've learned from them is that no matter how beautiful our concept and idea is, there is collective wisdom. We have so much to gain when we work together. And my seatmate here, who has moved farther than me, I don't know kung nilalayuan niya ako, si Senator Gatchalian, is witness to the fact, if you listen to his amendments, I think 75% of the amendments that he read on the floor were mine. Hindi sa magaling ho ako, but it's because I've also had experience working in that field. And so, it is not true that I simply want to oppose. I have started always by saying, please educate me. Please enlighten me. So definitely ho, clarificatory yun. Ngayon, kung hindi nyo nasasagot ang tanong ko, then that is the time I will conclude, and that is the time you will hear me say, well, with all due respect, I disagree. With all due respect, ito naman ang opinion ko. I hope you would consider it because hindi nyo nasagot yung tanong ko. So going back to the questions on the powers of GAB, bakit ho natin hindi ma-amend yun? I do not understand why His Honor is not amenable to amending the powers of GAB so that they can be more responsive to the needs that he sees has to be addressed. It is irresponsible for us to put in fundings for a new agency when we cannot even say that this other agency is not performing their job well. We did not even give them that mandate.
Mr. President,
So that is
may I
the proper
interrupt?
way to go. And if I may just finish before I give the floor back to His Honor, His Honor said that he has been answering this question since the 17th Congress. Let me point out two very important facts. I was not a member of the Senate in the 17th Congress. And yes, I have stood up so many times defending a bill and answer repeatedly questions that my colleagues ask because they want to understand it from their perspective. Kahit na 10 beses ko na sinagot yon sa ibang kasamahan natin. I tried to make it easier by studying the interpellation in the 17th Congress para maintindihan ko din kung anong napag-usapan doon. And I will pinpoint, my dear sponsor, that there are certain provisions that are new in this version that you filed in the 18th Congress that were not present in the version in the 17th Congress. So you cannot say, His Honor cannot tell us that it is the same and basahin ko na lang yung dati, iba ng bill to eh. Kahit basahin ko yung dati, may mga bagong provision to. On the creation, the commission is directly under the administrative supervision of the Office of the President in this 18th Congress. Yung bill niya said has a different kind of wording under the 17th Congress. The composition of the members are different. There are exemptions from taxes and fees in the 18th Congress that are not present in the 17th Congress. There are compensations of professional boxing and combat sports that are present in the 18th Congress that are not present in the 17th Congress. I can go on and on about the difference, but please understand that I studied this measure. So, kaya ko lang naman tinatanong, dahil may pinagkaiba naman po yung 17 and 18.